Siamo
Tra
live.
poco dobbiamo iniziare, adesso praticamente fra pochissimo.
Siamo già live.
Sì, aspetta che sto chiudendo tutto quello che non mi serve. Allora, questo lo tengo. Questo My Meetings non mi serve. Questo Slide Unit, vabbè, lo tengo se serve. Questo lo chiudo. Questo File VR non mi serve. Questo lo chiudo. Google Worksheet Marketplace. Questo lo chiudo. Questo lo chiudo. Questo no. Questo lo chiudo. Questo no. Questo lo chiudo. Questo no. Questo slide, gaze, instant fascination play therapy, ok, questo lo posso lasciare. Crisis, questo lo possiamo lasciare. Questo...
Ok, siamo già dal vivo.
Hello everybody. Hello. Aspetta un attimo. Devi avvertirmi.
Sì,
Hello everybody. Hello everybody from Tenerife. I am Marco Paret, and today we will do a very, very interesting live in which we will speak a little about the power of the gaze. We will speak about the power of the gaze. We will speak on how to increase this power and how to do exercise to do it. We will speak also about crisis and how to increase the result, therapeutic results using crisis. But let's begin now. Let's begin now in this moment with some simple slides where we will put a little of attention to the guys. But before beginning, let me explain a little the history, why I speak you about the gaze, why the gaze is so important, and why it is something so really important you learn. Gaze is in reality the first time I met the gaze was when I was in Italy, and I was on a train with a friend that spoke me about hypnosis, and he told me, hypnosis is very powerful. I should say that I already tried to do hypnosis in the past. So I told him, I tried to do it reading a book, but it's not so easy. I didn't get results. And he told me, no, because you didn't see Virgilio. Virgilio, you should see him. I was where he is. He just look at people, and these people in some seconds can go in a deep trance. Practically didn't say that people go in the deep trance. He told me that Virgilio practically just look at the person and this person was smoking a cigarette, and he just told him 2 words: the cigarette is not good, the cigarette is bad. The person began to cough and finally he couldn't anymore smoke. Yeah, a second person he looked at and he changed his name, even without telling anything. He just looked at the person with his gaze, and after the other person was unable to speak, completely unable and after he told another name. Well, he said, I searched a lot of on many books. I searched everywhere, but I never found explication of this technique. We should think that in this moment, the most books that we could accede were some books about Ericksonian hypnosis, NLP, or something like this. But reading or traditional hypnosis. But reading these books, there were no possibility of understanding what Virgilio did. This was the beginning of a travel, of a mystery, because I began investigating these techniques that seemed so strange, so mysterious, and progressively I learned a lot of stuff. I learned really how to really change people, and I really learned a new way of working with people, of creating change. But let's begin. Let's begin from let's begin from the beginning, and let's do something something very simple. I will begin showing you some slides about the gaze. Let's experimenting the power of the gaze. What is the gaze? Why it is important? Why we should worry about the gaze? Because the gaze is important, because it catches attention. We have the unconscious mind react. It puts away the conscious mind, and the gaze stimulates a deep primary bond. In a moment, we will see how to experiment the power of the gaze. But I want to tell you something more, that the gaze can be very, very powerful if you want even to heal people. Because in some way, with the gaze, we create like sort of trance in people. People will change, will transform themselves just with the gaze. With the gaze, we will have people in some way getting transformed, because we go in some sort of intrapersonal trance with the person that we are inside. We can think that when a person has a problem, interpersonal trance, when a person has a problem, this person is in an interpersonal trance. It means a trance with himself. When we do the gaze, we can stimulate a change. I will continue a moment, and I will see now, I will continue now, and I will show you now some slides in order to, you can do question on YouTube, because this video is transmitted to YouTube, and Sasina will copy me. Sasina, do you listen to me? Sasina?
Yes.
Okay, you should check on the webinar,
okay.
on the transmission on YouTube, and you copy me. If somebody has some question, we will answer them. You copy me in the chat. Okay, I will show now again some slide, and how to experiment the power of the gaze. The first way in which we can experiment we will see two of we can see it is through a mirror. And here we will have the basic exercise. We will go in front of a mirror, and we must not blink. We must continue observing. And after a while, we will begin to create in ourselves like a strange state. This strange state is a state in which we can begin to have a transformation. In some way, we put away the conscious mind, and we can begin even to give us some suggestion. For example, we can give us the suggestion of going backward and forward. This was one of the first techniques I learned with the gaze. I practiced it. I did it with myself, and I was astonished when the first time I went backward, just telling myself, because I had already tried it through verbal systems, to the verbal hypnosis, but now it was astonishing how effectively I could get this result. Practically immediately, I could go backward and I could go forward. It was incredible effective, this technique, and incredible immediate. After this experience, you can even give you some other suggestion. For example, you can give you the suggestion that your gaze is always stronger. You can give you the suggestion that you can even change yourself. Sometimes people try to give themselves suggestion to change. They try to use a suggestion to speak to themselves to change. with the gaze, we can do it very, 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 very well. Practically, it's like we have our unconscious in front of us. We are there speaking to our unconscious, and our unconscious will listen us. I will continue now, and I will look now at some other elements. Why it is so effective? Some people ask me, but why should we not blink when we use the gaze? The answer is very simple. You should not blink because the mind influences the body, but also the body influences the mind. We know that when we are very, very attentive, our eyes don't blink. In a similar way, when we are in front of a mirror and we try to keep our eyes open, we will influence our mind. I should say that normally when I work in therapy, I get results very, very fast. In some way, we keep our client attentive because we look at him without blinking. And when we look at him without blinking, we will create some sort of similar attention to mirror neuron, and he too will look at us without blinking. So mind influences the body, but also body influences the mind. Here I will explain again about the blinking and the advantage of working with the gaze in order to blink less. You will change it off less often. In some way, you will be able to be more concentrated. The technique of the gaze can be very useful if you study, if you are at school, because you will be more concentrated. The technique of the gaze will be also very useful when to keep your mind concentrated in a direction. For example, you have an enterprise, you are an entrepreneur, you are in some way you are working in business situation, and you want to be more concentrated. Obviously, it is not very easy to keep your gaze in this way. If you are tired, also you must remember that blinking is connected to the subconscious mind. When you are worried, when you have something you worry about, you blink more. So the first rule, if you want to get good results, is not to blink. I will look now to some slide where I will see a moment something more strong relative to the gaze. I go, for example, we have here the gaze of my master Erminio di Pisa. Okay, look at his gaze. Here I am working with the client. The gaze is very direct. And with the gaze very direct, we can create almost immediately change. In this case, he's working with a girl. Okay, it's again the same frame. And he creates a change. Notice that he had the glasses. I use his glasses. But when you hypnotize, when you use the gaze, you should not use glasses. The technique that Erminio di Pisa did is called also transforming fascination. In some way, looking in this way at the person will create like a reset of the mind, and it is very useful, for example, on some neuromuscular problems. And also we can use the gaze to give self-confidence or even to solve other problem. Here is the problem of headache that gets solved just with the gaze. Many results were obtained in very few seconds. And in 2 or 3 sessions, we can have permanent results. So you begin to see something about the gaze. Now you saw a lot. Here is me that was working some years ago with some clients, doing almost the same stuff. I show you the last element, that is me working with an higher person. Okay, this is a girl, but after I will work with an higher person. And you will see that you don't need to be higher, but you can, she's fascinated this moment. When I look at her, she enters progressively in a strange state. And after I wake her, and in this case, she has no more tinnitus. She's stupefied. She has she had a problem on the shoulder. Many times people can have even amnesia after having worked with the gaze. I did a lot of exercise with the gaze. Virgilio wanted me also to work on animals, because some people look at these techniques and tell, but it's a suggestion. No, it's not suggestion. We are triggering some profound reaction of the mind. Notice that the guy here, now he's not blinking. We are triggering some reaction that are very profound and that we can have even in animals. And let's look at some other video that we have. This is again. Okay. 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 Okay, let's look at some other video. This is also interesting from Di Pisa. After I will show the animals. This is Di Pisa working with he looks at the person. Okay, I promise. Okay, I promise that I will show you something about animals. I will show you because I have on my hard disk in this case. So I will take a moment. Sassina, do you have some question of the people, of some people? Please pass me here everything that is written down on the chat.
For the moment, no questions.
Okay,
Can
but
say hello.
Yes. Yes, people are saying hello or something like this. This is important.
Okay.
You should put everything that people write, even hello. You passed me here. I will just look, for example, at let's see this one that is interesting. This is very unscient video. I show you now. I will go. I will show you a very old video, very interesting, where a person is hypnotizing somebody else with just the gaze. And this is a video from Paret, Paret and Paret, and we see what triggered the video in an animal, in this case a monkey, curiosity. So you can think that curiosity, and after notice what he does, this person. Magnetic passes are important because in some way they don't touch the person, they don't, in this case the monkey, but at the same time they trigger some reaction. Perception of the body will trigger a sort of letting go. So in some way we see that after a while the animal will close his eyes. Just and after he will enter in a trance. Exactly, people will go in the same, will go along the same line, and we can put people very easy in a deep trance. This is before the war. It was done in the last Mondial War. It was done in a zoo, and it's very interesting. Okay, I see some people that Jose Martinez Garcia, okay, hello. Schweizer Hypnose Academy, hello, hello. Fiorentina, hello. Le Thor, Eric Le Thor, bonsoir, bonsoir à tous, et hello also to Kovacic. So I will continue, and I will speak again with the guys, and we will see something else. We continue to see our slides, and we go a little. We can think that the gaze is the window of the soul. And it's important what is written here. The person face will better feel what you think. In some way, when you look at somebody, you are transmitting your thoughts. So you will see that the people can see what you think. So when you think that the person in face should sleep, he will sleep. This in some way is the secret of fascination. The secret is having in your mind what you want. And looking with the gaze, you will get the result. Also, you will keep attention to the person. And there are two variables: how much you blink, how much you are present. Present, I should say that people that probably listen for the first time this webinar will not understand what does it mean being present, because they see, well, I am there, I'm listening. Not completely. Many times people is lost in his thinking. You are thinking, what I will do after, what I do now, what is in this moment, what I will. You are having a lot of mental chatter going inside yourself. You must being present in some way means being the master of your thinking. Being present means you have power on yourself. I too, the first time I heard the word presence, I didn't understand really what does it mean. Was a student of mine that worked with many traditions of presence that introduced me to it. He spoke always up being present, because being present progressively is in some way a path to enlightenment. And he had done this path. We can think that even yoga, where you have very presence in your body, is a path to enlightenment well done. And so presence in reality is at the core of it. Being present means having more density. In reality, it's very simple to achieve it. You just need to be very, very conscious of yourself. You just need to stay very, very aware of yourself. And as you stay very aware of yourself, you will but aware of your body, not of your thinking. People think I am aware. No, you are thinking. This is not the same stuff. Awareness is even without you thinking. Thinking means mental chatter. You can be aware even if without mental chatter. And the more you are aware, the more in some way you can have results. And it means that when you are in front, people ask me, but when I work with somebody, should I think to something? If you are present, not, or it's not important, because you are a lot in your body, you are a lot sure, and you will get the results without any problem. And so when I was presented to the concept of presence, the first time I didn't know what it was, but progressively I understood more and more what presence was. I understood more and more what presence could give to the people. And progressively, I saw that I could hypnotize people immediately. Okay, we have some question. K7636. Hello there, doctor. Can you advise for how long the exercise with the mirror should be done and when it can be expected to get results? I can say that the exercise with the mirror should be done until you have at least 5 minutes that you don't break. The ancient told that you should stay until you could stay 15 minutes. But in reality, 5 minutes are already sufficient if you want to work with people. Because with 5 minutes, you will have already sufficient time to hypnotize people. And at the same time, you must cultivate your presence in front of the mirror. You must, also, you must, another element that maybe is you didn't put attention is having a gaze of attention and curiosity. Otherwise, your gaze in front of the mirror would just be like this, but with no expression. No, you must be curious. Curious of yourself in front of the mirror, at least in the first part that you look at yourself in the mirror. It means you go in front of the mirror, you begin looking at yourself and you try to be like curious, like very interesting. At the beginning, I remember I was very interested to a point on my skin. This was very curious, but in reality, this curiosity that I had in this point, in reality, get transmitted. So when you are with a client, you look at the client tell, but he's curious about me. And in some way, you will be more attentive to you, because curiosity is something that get mirrored, and so we get curiosity from the other person. Martin Waters tell, what do you do when your eyes start to work? When I keep my eyes open at a certain moment, they become wet and I have to blink. I tell you, Martin, it's just a question of exercise. At the beginning, you will have more difficulties. I remember that it was not the best. It was very difficult. I said, I can get 3 minutes. I can get 3 minutes at 30 seconds. And after the day after 2 minutes. Why 2 minutes? And yesterday I was 3 minutes and 30. I continued exercising. I should say that I tell to the people to be constant, because it's good to be constant. But really, I was not so constant at the beginning. I didn't exercise so as my master taught me. My master was Virgilio, where Virgilio and the Pisa that I showed you before, and Virgilio. But I was not so constant as they told me to do. Maybe I could have been faster if I do. And also I tried to work with people. When you are with people, you must look at them with a normal gaze. This is important. But you will become more proficient. But you can look at one eye, the other eye, the nose, sometimes here, better here than here, because sometimes when we feel superior, we look people here, and so some people can react. You change your gaze. In some way, you look more natural, but at the same time, you will exert more power. Obviously, if you don't blink, you can have the eyes open, as I have now, but your face must be relaxed. Because if you stare at a person like this, the person will have a fear. So keep your face very quiet, and you will have a strong, silent influence that will be stronger and stronger on the person. I should say that the tradition of the eyes is very ancient, and even the Egyptians were very well aware of the power of the eyes. They represented the power of the eyes on the eyes of horse that we have put on our videos, because in this way we link to this tradition, because now I do stuff very simple, but I got too many traditions to learn this technique. I really tried. I should say that I began with Virgilio, but Virgilio was a strange tradition because, as I said to you, nobody could explain us how I was possible to hypnotize with the gaze. So we began searching. So we began searching everywhere, but no explication in modern books about how Virgilio did it, until we found some old books that described the fascination, not the gaze, how to do gaze fascination, but they spoke about fascination that spoke about people staying like this, as really we see people when we fascinate stays. And so we began searching with the ancient authors, and we began to discover like a secret, like the fact that the gaze that was very used created some effects that you don't create with the normal hypnosis. These effects can be explained through the modern polyvagal theory. Is with the gaze we get to create a reaction of the dorsal vagus, the part, and so in some way we began to discover it. So the gaze is also a power, can bring also to develop yourself in an interesting direction, because as you know, the work on the, as you know, the dorsal part, the dorsal part is where we work also when we do yoga, kundalini work, and so on. So in some way, the gaze goes to stimulating the same part of the mind. I profit to say Nadezhda Perigudova, hello, hello, and John Toram from Papua New Guinea. We are very happy to have you, that you listen to us. So in some way, the gaze can be very strong also for people doing psychic exercises or walking to do Raja Yoga, or every work that is to develop yourself. If you work on the gaze, every exercise will give stronger results. Everything that you do will give stronger results. And you will observe also, and now I will speak about something else, about crisis. Crisis is something that is in reality very, very interesting. I will take one to explain, and after we will comment it a little. I take one of my video. And I show you now an interesting crisis that we did. This we did in Russia. And is gaze and is the work of gaze and okay. Let's find. Okay. Sasina, you see? Okay, I think
Yes.
people. Okay. This woman has a crisis, but I just observed her. It is a stronger crisis that she had only because I stayed very present, but at the same time she reacted to herself. This is very curious what happened. And I began just to look at her. Notice, this was in our house that we did in Russia. I just look at her. My gaze is not tense. My gaze is just looking at her. She begins to breathe more. Notice, after in reality, this reaction is very primitive. And in reality, after a while, she entered like in a crisis, like in a reaction. Why we have this reaction? We can think that in some way, looking at me, triggered okay, you see perfectly what is happening. And now, in some way, it's falling down. Why it triggered such a reaction? We can think that normally we play games with the people in front of us. But when, so in some way, we always are playing this game. We try to have people react to us. But if we don't react and we just gaze, we have exactly something very strange, exactly what is happening now. This is a primitive reaction that we triggered. This you don't find on any book of hypnosis, what you saw now, but it exists. And I want you to show something curious. I stop here. You saw some moments ago the girl. I will take a video that I have here. And I will take this very, very unscient video. This one. This is a very unscient video. This person hypnotizes animals just with the gaze. In reality, what happens is very similar to, but what happens is very similar to what happened to the girl. This is a very unscient Italian video. Let's look now, hypnotizing a cock. You look, and progressively we can see the animal that blocks. But now observe, the animals has the same reaction she had the woman before. You see? This we cannot show, but we show that he put the cigarettes and the animal. Why? Because it's cataleptic, doesn't react anymore. After he wake up, the both animals. But why this video? What we have seen here is practically the reaction, a reaction to the gaze. What you have seen is how powerful the gaze can be. Hello, Tuan Tran from Vietnam. Hi, we hope maybe a day we could organize again, or in Papua Nuova Guinea or in Vietnam. I was in Indonesia recently, some years ago. K736, learn to have a magnetic gaze, learn to look at people without blinking. This is very important because if you don't blink, in some way you will have an influence that will be less that you saw before with the person with whom I worked before, but will be in any case there. If you see on my video, there are thousands of videos where you see this kind of reaction, and you learn these reactions. Also, you have different reaction with the right and the left eye. This is important because the right eye normally is a more dominant eye. The left eye is a more submissive eye. Yes, Nimi, hello from Germany. Can you use the mirror exercise to reprogram the subconscious mind, get rid of destructive conditioning? If so, how to it in the most efficient way? At the beginning, try just to go backward and forward, and after you can just say to you that you are maybe more decisive, that you are more stronger, and so on. This is the best that you can do at the beginning. Tell yourself it depends also what is the destructive condition. For example, I am not able. A very simple stuff that you can do is looking at the person in front of you and looking at him as it was another person, and you tell him, but you are able, you are capable, you can do a lot, because you are sincere. You see a person in front of you that is a person that is complete. You tell him this stuff. At a certain point, you will feel a certain sensation, a strange sensation. You say, but why I'm saying myself this stuff? It's true that I am able. And so you will see that in a very, very few time, you will have changed yourself. Sometimes you can say, but it's easy. Yes, it is so easy. It's so easy. And when you have car 7636, you must be congruent. When you want to influence people, you must have the idea of what you have, and also try to influence. For example, if you want another person to win, have in your mind the idea that he's winning, that he can go very fast, and in some way we feel you will look at him as you, but you feel that what you say is true, and he will. Practically, the guys is the way in which you can have the people feel that this is true. I would say, I see that there are many questions. Maybe I will reprogram a new webinar in the next period. Now we are with Zoom, but if you are in our Facebook group, you could apply to participate in our next webinar. So you can be there and do question even directly. This can be something very interesting that I will offer. And it's very important, I think, that people understand at least the basic elements we told today about the case. And because they will really have change your mind, change your way of being. We have Alexander Schmidt. Good evening. Hello, Alexander. And also we have Andre Kovalik. Yes, Kovalik, is true what you say, that Ferenc Borghesi worked on the animals on the Budapest. I will say to you now that we have spoken a lot, and I am happy for this participation. We will organize another webinar, maybe in 7 days and so on, and you will have the possibility to participate inside with me, putting all the questions that you want. You must. We will see with Sassina how to register. But the best is or that you ask in the Facebook group, or that you ask in the Facebook group. You ask, you get in contact with us, you write us an email, and you will be part of the next webinar. That is that will be along these lines, where I will teach you also something else, and we will also give you some more advice. I feel that learning to use the mirror and using the basis of fascination can change your life. Because I was astonished. I did a lot of Ericksonian hypnosis. I did a lot, and never my hand went up. when I did with the guys, it went up the first time I did it. So something that with words is very difficult, without words becomes incredibly easy. But there is a reason for it. Because in reality, most of the time, people does what his rational mind tells him to do. So the rational mind likes to speak, and so people tell, I do a lot of Ericksonian hypnosis, I speak to a lot. But in reality, what the conscious mind likes is not the same that the unconscious mind likes. So in some way, you must learn it. We are trying to transmit a new idea. My goal is to transmit a new idea, to have people understand that the non-verbal is more important than the verbal. We can use the verbal to begin, but when we enter in the non-verbal, we have the answers. We have too many people that begin verbal and continue verbal. We are against this way. It's obviously that I speak. Obviously, I speak to you because I cannot transmit to you. But otherwise, we cannot stay always verbal. Otherwise, we will stay always in the space of the conscious mind. At a certain moment, we must go non-verbal. I should say that what I do, I feel is the most complete form of hypnosis because I appreciate what Erickson does, what some people with words does, and I feel it's very good. But I feel it's not complete. You cannot get complete results just with words. You must learn to elicit non-verbal responses because when you elicit non-verbal responses, you go inside. There are a lot of people that try to understand hypnosis in a too academical way. One way, or they try to get deep states just with words, but it's much easier without words. I see two other questions. Can fascination reverse timidity? Yes, this is very good. Begin trying with the mirror. Just tell yourself that you are very strong, that you are. Speak as I told to the other person. Say, but you have no reason to be shy. You can be very, very sure, and you see that in certain moment your way of thinking will change. I want to say that my goal is that change can be very easy when we go non-verbally, and can be very difficult when we use just words. I use words, and I say I think our school is the most complete because we use both. We don't. I think Ericksonian hypnosis is very good when you begin speaking with a client, when you begin to have contact with him, but after, if you want to get the stronger results, the gaze is important. But this is the truth. The gaze, the non-verbal in general, this is true. We see that is even proved because we see that Facebook posts that are written are less strong than videos that are visual. So we understand that the visual is stronger than and we see that people, even Facebook, everywhere is going from spoken to visual. So we must follow this trend, understand this trend that in reality is the mirror of how our mind works. So our mind works in this way, and I'm speaking about something that you see. One that you see, people like more and more just to put photos and less to read something long, and the same. And the same when we do hypnosis, we must go with the trend, go more visual. No, more visual. It's not just visual and kinesthetic. Because this you cannot have obviously to Facebook. Kinesthetic is the following path, because in some way, when the conscious mind go away, we can let ourselves open up more, and we can activate even in some way more the ventral part, if we speak in terms of polyvagal therapy, of our autonomous parasympathetic nervous system. And the ventral vagus is more connected to connection. In some way, we can connect, in some way, we can even, with fascination, we put away, in some way, some reaction, we can after connect even better with the person. And we can at this point enter with the magnetic passes. Magnetic passes are very strong because in some way don't touch the person, but they go very near the person and people will react. I will tell you, stay tuned that I will publish the date for another live like this, and also stay tuned for the next course, because if you are interested in our next course, not just in a webinar, we will do a complete course about fascination, hypnotic fascination, and so on. This course will be this month that we will begin. Maybe we will do a little later, but we will do probably this month, and will be online. Some people say, but online course can be good. I can say that online course is good, and after you can, if you can, come to a live course. But we have people from India, for example, that had difficulties for visa and stuff coming, and they got good results even working online. Obviously, if you work online, you must come with a stronger motivation, because in some way you must do work by yourself. But you can, I can assure you, I had a person here, I have a person from Papua Nueva Guinea, and I had people from Nouvelle Caledonie, for example, New Caledonia, that is very near, and other places that got complete results, even very strong, doing my online course. The best in reality would be to do the online course and after coming to a live course, because in this way you can mix both. But sometimes you can do, as we have many types of training, so you can try to do most of the trainings in order to cover the biggest part online, and after come as soon as you can in a live course. I saw that recently we are a lot more free, as we have more students from the online courses, in how we develop. We go a little. Was a time when we should follow a very tight frame. We do something like that. Now most of the people come with already a lot of experience, and so we go a lot faster when you do exercise directly. On probably we think to begin the 28th, but we will announce the date in the next days. And the 28th of June will begin our next course. Before this date, we will do another webinar, and you will have the possibility to participate also in this new webinar. You can also post your curiosity, it's a question for Nemi. I will answer now. Nemi, can you do the mirror exercise non-verbal, like visualizing what you desire, your goal, while looking at yourself? Yes, you can, but in reality, it's possible, but in reality, you will see that your image will interfere a little with looking at you. We use normally another way of doing, using a light. Normally, if you want to use it can work a little. It can work a little because in some way it can give some results. But normally we use a light to do this kind of work with visualization. With the mirror, it's better you give you a direct suggestion that you are strong, or you can visualize the person in front of you that is as you want, as you could do before. Was a person that asked, I have a meeting with other people, how can have a better meeting with people? you will learn how you can do better meeting with people, looking and look a little at and look at the person in front of you, how you could look at a person in a personal meeting where you want to influence. You see, everything is connected. Everything gets connected, and in reality, it's like entering a new world. Fascination is really strong. It's the child, when was born, looking at his mother. This is the deepest bond that exists. Fascination is the way in which you can awake new energies that are inside you. And in fascination, we can even do a lot of work where we can heal a lot of people. Okay, thanks for your attention, and I wait for you in the next webinar, and I wait for you also in the live courses when we will begin the new sessions. Thanks for all, and I hope also to see you all. I am a lot in the world. I was in Brazil, I was in Russia recently. I was in you see, even with war, the interest continue about fascination. People is interested in all about the world. There are people that ask me to go to Guadeloupe. Maybe I will go. I hope to meet you all, or otherwise come you to meet me. I should say that if you learn fascination, you can even increase, even if you do other work, you are a coach working in companies, you are a CEO, you are or just for personal relationships, you will have you will change your life. You will have something really strong. Thanks to you. Bye bye, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.